Well, hello there. Welcome back. I see you clicked on part 2. If you've clicked on part 2 by accident, you meant to click on part 1. This is not part 1. So, yeah, spoilers. You're tuning in at number 10 on my list. So if you want to go and see my 2 honorable mentions, as well as this issue and 4 others, go check out my, or 5 others. Yeah, that's how to count. God. Go check out my previous video. Anyway, for those of you tuning in from part 1, this is me from like 2 seconds after the last video. So, yeah, moving right along from issue number 10 here. Yay. I'm sorry. I'm recording this on my phone. When I was talking about Gideon Falls, I told you I bought issue number 1. I also bought a lot of issues number 13 through 17 for like $10, and I just got a notification saying it shipped, so yay. I'm trying to track those down in any way I can. So moving on from my professionalism, issue number God. Number 10 on my list is Bloodshot. I'm gonna learn how to talk at some point in my life, I'm telling you. All right, moving right along to what I believe is number 9, unless I'm stupid, which I know I am. Number 9. Batman Curse of the White Knight, number 1. This is the variant. This is drawn by Sean Gordon Murphy, and I believe to an extent written by him as well. I don't know what Matt Hollingsworth did, but I'm pretty sure Sean Murphy is doing everything on this book. Unless, again, I'm wrong, which, I can be. But this book is incredible. This is continuing from White Knight last year, which, sadly, I have not read yet. I'm going to get around to it at some point, but you don't need to know too much from White Knight continuing on to this. I'm understanding it just fine, and I only really know one thing from the first one, and that's mainly because it told me. So, yeah, this series is going to be one of, 9? I think it's 9. No, 8. Yep, 8, because the first one was 8, so this is going to be 8. Anyway, the regular and variant covers are both done by Sean Murphy. The art is incredible. The writing is awesome. I mean, this is Sean Murphy just having fun with the Batman lore and a Batman story where he doesn't have to worry about repercussions. We just had a one-shot come out, actually, called Von Freeze. If you haven't read that, read it. Seriously, that book is incredible. Written by Sean Murphy and art done by Klaus Janson. Awesome. But this is Curse of the White Knight. And basically, Azrael has come back because of the Joker putting a fire under him about how he has to kill Batman again and whatnot. So now he's trying to do that. And Batman's not the only one getting in his way that he ends up killing. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say anything else. Of course, if you've read White Knight, spoiler, Alfred is dead. So, yeah, that was a big thing coming out of White Knight last year. And, of course, now he's actually dead in canon because Tom King is an idiot. So, yeah, awesome art, awesome story. What more do you need to know? Look at this cover. Oh, that should speak for itself. All right, moving on. Book number 8. Dead Eyes. Oops. This is being done by Jerry Dugan, or Duggan, I don't know. We're going to call him Jerry. Now, if you're not aware, Mr. Jerry here is doing not just Dead Eyes, but he's also doing the current Dawn of X book. He is doing Marauders, which, issue 1 was great, issue 2 was garbage, issue 3 was better. So, it's just weird to go from that to this, which this is incredible. The art is awesome. Again, this is an Image book. This is actually being redone from a book that was canceled last year called Dead Rabbit. I don't know how far Dead Rabbit went in line with this, but this is supposed to be an ongoing. I don't know why Dead Rabbit was canceled and recalled, but it was. So that's a thing. But anyway, Deadeye's basically this old guy from the 90s. He was basically a stick-up man. He would rob banks and whatnot. And get money that way by dressing up as a vigilante named Deadeyes with a mask, as you can see from the cover, that has 2 red X's over the eyes. Deadeyes. And now his wife has grown very sickly, and he needs money bad. Now the only thing is, he might not have money. The mafia thinks he does, or a mob thinks he does, because there was apparently a mob hit on this mob group that took several $1,000,000. I think it was $4 million from him. And they think Deadeyes did it because he was seen at the scene. He was seen at the scene, that's right. English. And Deadeyes adamantly denies having that money, saying that if he did, why would he be doing this again? He would never have to worry about money again. But here we are. So he's having to basically avoid that, find out what's going on, and why they think he did it, who actually did it, and whatnot. So, awesome book. Has some humor every now and then, and very, very fun. It's a very fun book. This and Bloodshot are just fun, in the best way possible. So, if it sounds good, if this art looks good at all, just look this book up. This is awesome. I can't say enough praises about this book. I'm honestly really looking forward to seeing this on my pull list. So yeah, we're going into issue 4, I believe, coming out in a few weeks. Issue 3 just came out last week. So yeah, give it a chance. Again, another Image book, so another indie book that you may not have heard of. Yeah, awesome. You will not regret picking this book up. Now, going back to the big boys, a book that I figured was going to be Book of the Year for me, but looking through my books again, there's just some stuff that I enjoyed a little bit more than this. This is definitely my favorite superhero, well, it's my favorite superhero ongoing. I think it's the best written and has the best artwork out of the superhero books coming up. But there's just a few that I'm enjoying more, I guess. I don't know. It's hard to put it. But what I'm talking about, of course, is Chip Zdarsky's Daredevil. Now, issue 14 just came out last week. And this started earlier in the year. And by the way, Tedesco, he's doing the covers on all of these except one. He didn't do one of them, but these covers are just gorgeous. Seriously, this is what really drew me to this, and to have me look more into it are these beautiful covers. But in my opinion, this is superhero book of the year. Seriously. The only reason I'm going to have another superhero book on here is strictly because of what it means to me. Not that this doesn't mean a lot to me, it's just the other one means a lot more to me in terms of the character base. Now, I love Daredevil, and it seems like Zdarsky's going for a more Netflix Daredevil feel, mixed with the comic feel, which is awesome. Although, of course, now every time I read Kingpin in my head, it's not Vincent D'Onofrio in my head, it's the Kingpin from the 90s Spider-Man show. But, whatever. But this takes place with Daredevil. It's a continuation of sorts of what had happened in prior volumes, in that Daredevil's coming back from a horrific back injury, from being hit by a truck. And, of course, all of the other years of being a crime-fighting vigilante wearing on him. And he's being sloppy. He thinks he can keep doing what he's doing based on pure instinct alone, and he gets sloppy. He ends up causing someone's death, which he refuses to believe, and he thinks he must have been set up. He had to have been set up. And in that time, of course, we have Mayor Fisk in this. Wilson Fisk is mayor, and he's basically got a hit out on all vigilantes. and the cops were all on his side and whatever. Although the cops still side with people like Daredevil because of how many times Daredevil saved them. So you have this new detective come to town from Chicago under some pretty shady circumstances. So he's got a chip on his shoulder for sure, and he's going heavy after Daredevil. And you have this inner turmoil of this new cop of, well, the law's always right, but is it? Is it really right, given what Daredevil's doing and the right he's doing despite the law, given that Fisk is the one that's in power? So you have that great story going on, as well as a story of Daredevil trying to get back to being himself. And should he continue being Daredevil? So if you haven't read any of these books so far, I highly recommend it. If nothing else, pick up the trade. I was able to pick up these single issues pretty readily. My LCS had quite a bit of back issues, almost all of them. The only ones I really had to pick up, I only really had to pick up 4 of the first 13, which I got from my comic shop. And yeah, so if you get the chance to pick this up, the art is gorgeous, and the writing, I mean, like I said, this is superhero book of the year for me in terms of how doggone good it is. This is, every issue is awesome, every single issue. If you miss the Netflix show, this will fill that void for you. I know it is for me. The only thing missing now is Bullseye, because I got cock-blocked on season 3 of Daredevil, just like I did with the original movie, ending in the exact same spot, promising Bullseye, only to never get it. So, you know, is what it is. Hopefully Marvel picks it up. I just want Bullseye. Is that too much to ask? Anyway, before I start crying, let's move on. Issue number, the next one, because I'm losing track, so we're going on to issue the next one. We have Basket Full of Heads, another Hill House imprint. This is the one I was talking about earlier. Can we get that glare off? Yeah, whatever. This is issue number 1 of the first Hill House book, and this one is actually being written by Joe Hill, and Leo Max is the artwork, and man, the art on this is gorgeous. I mean, the writing is incredible. It's a very slow burn on this first issue, introducing everything, but in my opinion, while some people might have a problem with that, that's how best horror movies work. You have a slow burn into everything happening. So, basically, there's this mystical axe that when it beheads someone, the head stays alive. And that's all you really need to know. I mean, honestly, read it. Seriously, the art's awesome, very reminiscent of an old slasher film from the 80s. Great book. Very, very Stephen King. I mean, what would you expect from his son? Pick it up, seriously. I mean, and of course, I forgot to mention the other one, but you have a Sea Dogs little mini story in the back, which is spanning every single different Hill House book. So that's another plus, I guess. Pick it up if you get the chance. I mean, if you like horror at all, this is it, man. I'm telling you. This is beautiful. Joe Hill's just hitting it out of the park. I was super hyped about this one. I don't know, some comic shops were offering little sneak previews of every book coming out of this, except Daphne Byrne and Plunge. But Basket Full of Heads is just beautiful. It really is. It's a work of art in terms of horror fans. And given that I've loved horror my whole life, I had no idea horror comics were this prevalent. You've honestly just got to look for them. And this year's been great for horror books, and you will see one coming up next. In book the next, we have another one that I know many of you haven't heard of. It's from a publisher called Vault Comics. This is a book titled The Plot. Now, this is by Daniel Morici and Hickson. I don't know their first names. Well, I did at one point, but I forgot them. I know it's Michael Morici on as one of the writers, I believe. But he's the only one I really remember. Joshua Hickson, that's it, and someone else. Anyway, Hickson's art's just incredible. Now, believe it or not, this cover, this variant cover, is actually by Michael Morici. This is one of the writers drawing it, which I don't know, it's just me. I love it when writers are also insane artists. This is the one I'm choosing to show. This is, like I said, one of the variant covers. This is my favorite cover that has come out. In terms of a regular variant, they've done like limited runs of like 100 comics because, I mean, it's a small publisher. Not many people have heard of it. But I bought this and another one. It's a House of Secrets homage cover. Bought them both off of eBay for like $8. Signed by Daniel Morici and Hickson. All three, the two writers and the artist on both books. And you can actually see him down there. That's Morici. I believe that's Daniel right there, and that's Hickson. Anyway, the art is gorgeous. The paper, I mean, the quality of the book itself is awesome. I mean, the paper quality is great. The story is awesome. Very 90s psychological horror film-esque I'm getting from it. It's very similar if you saw, what was it? Doggone it, there was a Netflix series that came out about a house they had moved into. I can't remember what it was called. But if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, it's very, very good. Very, like I said, it's very psychological horror-esque in that it's a slow burn horror. There's not much going on, but when stuff does happen, it's like, oh my god. It's my kind of horror to a T. It is awesome. I actually found out about this because Scott Snyder recommended this through his Twitter, and I had to look into it, and it was a pain in the butt to track down because Vault is not a high print run kind of company. So if I were you, I would get this now before it gets picked up for a series for Netflix or anything like that, because horror series on Netflix seem to be the new thing, and you never know what's going to be picked up. And I mean, at the very least, it's an awesome series. It's only 4 issues. Issue 4 is going to be coming out next week, so pick them up if you get the chance. There are still cover price on mycomicshop.com, only $5 for shipping, regardless of how many books you get. I'm not sponsored, but I'm just really happy I found out about that. But yeah, the plot, awesome. Basically, man, how do I explain this? There's a couple who have distant relations with their the rest of their family, a dark past, basically, and their brothers. He's kind of the black sheep of the family. He's very troublesome, and we get hints that it's because something that happened in the past with the family that scared him to the point of him just being a nobody, and so these two get killed, and their 2 kids are given custody to their uncle, who's the guy I mentioned earlier. And he basically, in order to take care of these kids, they go live in their family house, and the sheriff's not too fond of it because he knows that this guy has a past of not great behavior, and he doesn't want him back in the town. And it's just basically us going through and finding out hints about the past of everything going on, of the family, the brother, the sheriff, and yeah, I know that didn't do it justice, but seriously, just look into it. It's an awesome book. It really is. And there's another Vault book that I found out from the back of this book called Black Stars Above. Check that out too. Awesome horror book, similar to this but different. It's more of a fantastical horror, but still really good. Anyway, moving on. Oh, number 4. 4. All right. Number 4, I have Powers of X. Now, this is what I meant when I said Daredevil is my favorite is the best superhero book of the year. Not because it's my favorite, but because I think it's the best. Now, these are my favorite, like, superhero-focused books. This one and the next one I'm going to show you. Powers of X, well, screw it. I'll just show you them both. So, Powers of X is 3, 4, and then 3 is House of X, number 1. So, House of X and Powers of X are Hickman's new restart, soft reboot to the X franchise. And the reason this ranks so high is, and what I meant when I said I think Daredevil's better, but it's not my favorite, is just because I'm so excited to finally be excited about an X book. I've always wanted to like the X-Men, but it just felt like there was so much history behind it, and I focus my time mainly on Spider-Man, Batman, and Marvel, but not necessarily X-Men. My X knowledge, for the most part, stems just throughout the 60s. So I'm not super knowledgeable about, like, the Dark Phoenix saga, House of M, stuff like that. So to hear that, like, at first I wasn't super hyped about this because of that. I figured it was just going to be another Nothing X book, because those were coming out every year. A Nothing X book that would go 10, 20 issues and be just meh, and only for people that have been reading X-Men for the last 30 years. So I wasn't hyped for this. I knew a lot of people were, and then Dawn of X came out. And I figured, well, it's an X-Men number 1. I've got to try it. Read it. I really enjoyed it. And I ended up picking up House of X and Powers of X, the entire run, for like $80. And I loved it. Seriously. I mean, there's not a sane person on this planet that dislikes these books. Seriously. This is awesome. Hickman is a genius. Seriously. I feel like it's lost a lot of its steam in Dawn of X, and I think it's spreading itself a little thin, trying to take a narrative that was very concise and tight within 2 books and spreading it over 6. Hence why I think only 2 of them are really necessary. 3 maybe. But House and Powers, the hardcover of both just came out. So at the very least, pick that up if you can. Pick up the singles, but read it any way you can. These are awesome. Great reboot for the X-Men. Great history behind it. Basically, it's just the X-Men. There's a new mutant that's been given Omega level powers, Moira McTaggart, who basically has the ability to infinitely reincarnate or come back to life. But it's not at the time when she died that she comes back. She comes back when she was born. So basically she died. She lived a normal life, died, and then she came back again at the start of her life in the womb. Back in the 50s, I would say. And yeah, she lived to, I think, like 80-something with several kids. And on the second life, she's like, okay, what the hell is going on? She ends up deducing she's a mutant and is kind of iffy about going to Charles Xavier or whatnot, but she ends up thinking that the mutants are a plague and whatnot and tries to extinguish the mutants. Mutants don't like that. Kill her. And then she has this epiphany of, okay, well, maybe it's not the mutants that are bad, it's humans. And she goes to, like, Magneto, Apocalypse, to try and... Because, I mean, the first thing she tried to do was to go to Professor X to try and help him establish his school for mutants. Fall in love and whatnot. Sentinels end up killing everyone. So she tries to be evil and just kill everyone. That doesn't work out. And all of this basically is building up to her realization that the mutants always lose. So she's taken her information from the many ways that the mutants go extinct and put that into her database and into her plan, basically, to make a future where the mutants come out not all dead. And that's basically what this is. Because Powers of X is taking you through her different lives and the different stories. So one is called the War of Apocalypse, where she sides with Apocalypse. Another one is 1,000 years in the future, because it's Powers of X, Powers of 10. We have X-Men at year 1, which is the 60s continuity. Then we have year 10, then we have year 1. Yeah, because year 0 is the 60s. Year 1 is it? God, I'm getting confused now. No. Wait. Yes, okay. Year 1 is this continuity. Then we have year 10, which is the Apocalypse War continuity. And then X100, I think, if I remember that correct. Or X3, sorry. X0, 1, and 2, and then 3. So X2 is X-Men year 10, and then X1 is year 10. I'm going to get this straight. Then X2 is year 100, and then X3 is year 1000, which is the final life, whatever. I'm not going to spoil that for you. You can read that on your own. It's really weird. But it all comes together in the last issue. If you think it's really weird in Powers, it'll all be explained in the 6th issue. Don't worry. I thought it was nuts too. There are input in there, pages, like 2-3 pages of text, but it's not something you can skip over. It's necessary. It's world building. So for the people out there saying this could be explained in a one shot, whatever, pardon my language, but bullshit. This could not be explained in a one shot unless you were to make it the size of all 12 of these issues. Everything put in here is important for the story. The only reason you could cut it short is rather than going in depth into like the War of Apocalypse or her different lives, they just stated the outcome and said, oh, we did this, so therefore we know this. Bullshit. These 12 issues were a masterpiece. The best X-Men story probably since Claremont. Well, I haven't read the Jim Lee books from the 90s, so I don't know about those. Well, yeah, Jim Lee Claremont. God, I'm stupid. Anyway, probably the best since Claremont. My opinion. Read these if you get a chance. If you're a Marvel fan, if you're a superhero fan, don't even have to be an X-Men fan. Try these out. Seriously. At the very least, try out the first issues. That's all I can say. Now, moving on, issue. I'm going to keep saying issue because we're talking about comics. Number 2 on my list, my second favorite of the year, which I thought was going to be my favorite until I saw another book that actually came out this year I forgot about. I thought it came out earlier, but nope. Anyway, Harleen. Wow. It's by Stepan Sejic. He's writing and drawing, which is awesome. This was my way of finding out about him, but he's been doing stuff for a long time. Mainly X-rated stuff, so view at your own risk. But his art in this is nuts. And his psychological dive into Harley Quinn is awesome. In my opinion, the original Harley Quinn from the 90s... Okay, let me say this first. This has made me love Harley Quinn for the first time since the 90s show, when I was a kid. That being said, that Harley Quinn, in my opinion, was not created to be able to hold a story all on her own. The most she would be able to do as that character is maybe a side story, a one-off, a one-shot, nothing much. So when people, and I think that's mainly because they emphasize the comedy aspect to her rather than this aspect, the psychological aspect to Harleen as a sympathetic character and building her as a person as opposed to a thing and a lol so random character. When people stop trying to make her a Deadpool character and make her a Joker-esque character, that's when things get real. And this, in my opinion, is going to be the definitive version of Harley going forward. I mean, again, Prestige Plus, this is like $8, but this is like a triple-sized issue. And it is, oh my god, this is so good. If you have any like towards the Joker or Harley, read this book. Seriously. It's only 3 issues. I'm getting the regular and variant covers, but this is the one I decided to show again for brevity. But, man, 3 issues. If nothing else, pick up the trade, which is going to be coming out next year, the hardcover. And they're already hinting at a sequel coming out, which I don't know how that's going to work or when, because Cedric has his own personal projects going on outside of this. And if you do end up liking this, he does have a Patreon going that he just started this month for his other series. It's only, the top tier is $6. I mean, seriously. If you like this, go and support him. And his other work is just as good as this, seriously. Doesn't have the name recognition of Harley, but still, this is awesome. If you've been thinking, like, man, I like Harley, but I'm not a fan of what they've been doing with her, them trying to make her a Deadpool-esque character, this is the story for you, seriously. So, anyway, moving on, because we're getting pretty long here, on my last book, my favorite for the year, a book, like I said, I forgot came out this year. I thought it came out last year. And it might have. I didn't check at the date, but I'm pretty sure it just came out this year. Yeah, it had to have. Anyway, this is The Batman Who Laughs. This is book number 5. A variant for it, because this is my favorite cover, because look at it. How could it not be? This series, of course, is branching off of Dark Knight's Metal, following the Batman Who Laughs, and basically his tormenting and attempting to ruin Batman, and it is so good. This is by Snyder and Jock, together again for the first time since the Black Mirror, and Jock's art mixed with Snyder's writing is a match made in heaven. Seriously, this is so good. I don't know what else to say. I mean, this, if you like the Batman Who Laughs character, this is it, right here. I mean, awesome story, awesome artwork. I mean, just look at the cover. Look at that. Seriously. I can't say enough good things about this book. Basically, this goes through Batman Who Laughs trying to infect the entirety of the city, which leads into Batman Superman, which is a current series that's ongoing right now. And he starts off by trying to infect Batman and making him like him. And what I think is awesome about this book is every time Batman thinks, or you as a reader think, that Batman has one up on the Batman Who Laughs, the Batman Who Laughs just goes, yeah, I knew you were going to do that. You just played right into my plan. And, man, the reason I loved the New 52 run to start off with was because I've never seen Batman as defeated as I did in that Court of Owls story. And the same thing happens here. I've never seen Batman so ultimately defeated than I have in this book. Every single issue, Batman is just so defeated. He sees a glimmer of hope, and then the Batman Who Laughs comes to step on it. This book, in my opinion, book of the year. Seriously. The writing, the artwork, everything. Gorgeous. Batman Who Laughs, pick it up. You will not regret it. It was only, 7 issues, I think? So, I mean, it's not too much, and they released a trade for it, so by all means, just read it, man. If you like Batman, if you like Snyder's Batman specifically, even if you just like Jock's artwork, pick these up. You won't regret it. Anyway, that's going to be it for me. That's my top 15 books for 2019. Like I said, there's a lot of other books I would have loved to put on this list, but this is already going to be an hour-long thing split into 2 parts. So there's only so many books I could put in here. If you thought there was something else that should have been in here instead of something else, if you were like, man, what the hell were you thinking? That book sucked. Let me know down in the comments. Of course, be respectful, as always. Or if you have any suggestions about something I might not know about that I might enjoy, whether it's from this year or 10 years ago, please let me know. I'm always on the lookout for older books like 10 Grand. That came out in 2014, and I'm still trying to find new stuff. So by all means, let me know, especially image stuff. Image stuff is just so hard to sift through. So if you're enjoying something right now, let me know. And if you're looking forward to anything specifically in 2020, let me know. In my opinion, the thing I'm looking most forward to in 2020 that is something new is probably the Wolverine book. Just because it's Wolverine, honestly, and it's Andy Kubert coming back to do it, and the art looks good. It's a continuation of Dawn of X, plus it's the return of Omega Red. I'm super hyped for that, but of course I'm also super hyped for the 2 Hill House books coming out, Daphne Byrne and Plunge, specifically Daphne Byrne. But let me know what you might be looking most forward to again, and yeah, hope you all enjoyed. Thanks for sticking with me. I know this was a long journey, but I hope you all enjoyed. Maybe you learned something. Maybe you found a new book that you might have not known about, and now you're going to go check out. In which case, let me know down in the comments, and let me know if you do end up enjoying it. So until then, I will see y'all in the next video, whatever that might be. If maybe you've been missing my weekly pulls, my weekly pickups, I've got a massive week coming up next week. So, yeah, let me know down in the comments again if you've missed those videos, if you want to see them again. But unless I get people asking for it, I'm probably not going to do it again. It's just too much work for me to put into videos to only get 2 people to watch a minute of it. So anyway, thank you all again for sticking through it. If you watch to the very end, please let me know, because that means the world to me. Because I'm just some idiot rambling on about books that he enjoyed reading, comic books at that, for this year. So let me know what y'all thought, and longest outro ever ended now. See y'all in the next one. Take care.